What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of A Talk on Titan. I am here, as usual, with my co-partner, my fellow Survey Corps member, Mr. Ben Goddard. What's up, man?
Hey, good to be back, Ace. It's weird not having a guest, I'll be honest. I liked the crowded room. I like the different perspectives, but I'm happy to get back and in it with another info-heavy episode of Attack on Titan. And it was episode 69, baby!
We did it. 69. We hit it. Yeah, man. Obviously, I would love having guests on. I think we're going to have a guest on next week, and we'll probably keep getting guests on until the finale. Just this week with Valentine's Day, with people being busy, with people having other stuff to do that is more relationship-based and not Attack on Titan-based.
Right.
Lucky them or lucky us, Ben. I don't know which one.
Yeah, we had to get a foreigner last week for the Super Bowl, but now...
Yes.
Like Valentine's Day is worldwide, so just us two single dudes talking about Attack on Titan. Nothing wrong with that.
That's how we do it with our Survey Corps shirts, bro. Let's go. We're doing it real, man. It's like, why are we single? Oh, crap. Attack on Titan in my Attack on Titan Dragon Ball Z figure.
Girl, you want to wear my Letterman jacket, girl?
Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Welcome to the story of our lives. And we're going to be talking about this episode, guys, which is obviously titled Sound Argument, episode 10 of this season. The term sound argument is used when the military police are discussing Historia. We'll get to that eventually. But I want to start, Ben, with Eren in the prison cell, which you called.
Yes.
By the way, you said he was in a prison cell, and then I wasn't sure if he was. But we got Eren in a prison cell, and we got Hanji breaking his moment, breaking his sulking, his brooding.
I go back to that moment where, he was, it was like that very anime moment where he was watching his dad's flashback with, with the owl. And he was like, I have a Titan, it's called, and it flashes back to Eren, the Attack Titan. And Hanji's like, wait. Did you just say the Attack Titan by yourself? And this, who are you talking to? And then she looks around. She's like, "Am I the only one that heard him say the Attack Titan?" Like, it's such a Hanji, almost fourth wall break moment. Mm-hmm. And she does it again in this one. And I thought it was great with how dramatic that last episode ended with him just like fight, fight, fight. And then she's like, "Wait, why are you saying fight? Were you talking to yourself? Is there two fights going on?" Which, I mean, granted, is there two fights going on now inside of Eren? Is he going to fight the Survey Corps, and is he going to fight the rest of the world? Or is it just him chanting it? I did like that moment, honestly.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's always fun seeing Hanji break the ice. And like you said, break the fourth wall. Very interestingly, she's like kind of being the audience's POV by saying what we're thinking as far as like, who are you talking to? What are you talking about? Hanji's asking all those real questions, and I like how Hanji calls out Eren for being kind of weird for doing that, even though she's like the weirdest one of all.
She's so weird. She's so weird, but she really is the audience. She's like, "Oh, I like your hair too." She's literally us in this moment, and Eren. And this more than anything, this is the moment that Eren has changed for me, because he's never yelled at Hanji. He's always respected her. He's always like, okay, Hanji's a little weird, but I know she has a plan. And just even before he, later when we get him throwing her up against the bars and grabbing her, and we see how much Eren grew like a foot and a half.
Yeah.
But even before that moment when he's like, "What do you want?" He's never yelled at that. He's always let Hanji go on her rants, go on her tirades, and just her own tangents. Just him doing that, I'm like, okay, Eren has changed.
Yeah, because it was, I noticed that too. Obviously, we can jump to that if you want, because it's the same scene, but in a different later moment in the episode where Eren literally assaults Hanji. And I was like, wait a minute, bro, that's your commander. That's your superior officer. That's the commander of Paradise, not just the Survey Corps anymore, of all of damn Paradise at this point. Hanji has so much power and so much control. Eren he's a military guy through and through. If you're a military guy, you got to respect your superior officer. And he doesn't. At this point, he is kind of buying into his own hype of I'm a god. I'm straight up Warhammer, attack, founding. You can't do shit to me. And I was like, Eren, what are you doing, bro? You can't just grab the commander of your entire Paradise military unit. I don't know what you thought of that, but that to me was like
it
the
makes
line.
me think,
You crossed the line, man.
yeah, it makes me think that the half brothers are fully on their own team right now. Like I don't know, maybe like Yelena is obviously with Zeke, but it makes me think that Eren has jumped ship with the Islanders. Like he's not with Paradise anymore, and because he's like, you can't kill me physically, like you can't hold me here. I can walk out whenever I want to, and you can't kill Zeke because you need his royal blood. And so what do you have? What do you want, Hanji? You have nothing. You can't say anything to me. You have no plan. We tried to come up with a plan for years, and I don't know if it's like resentment, like, because we learn later on in the episode, like they tried to come up with a plan to not sacrifice Historia in any way, and nothing was done. And so he's like, I'm on Team Zeke now, it seems like, and we're going to do the rumbling, and we're going to go this way. That's what I got from it. He's just like, he's just done. Like, he's just over it.
Yeah, I mean, after that moment, too, we had Hanji kind of speak to herself because she kind of tried to brush it off. Like, hey, Eren, stop being an idiot or stop being a jerk. Like, she kind of brushed it off and tried not to, go too far into it. Because, I mean, if it was Erwin, if it was Levi, it would have been different terms as far as their reaction to that. But Hanji was she's still like shaken by it. Yeah. So she kind of goes up to herself and says, Erwin made one mistake, which is making me the commander. And I was like, no, he made you the commander for a reason. That was one of my favorite moments. I told you, Ben, of last season when he did make her the commander. He specifically said, you're the next commander.
Yeah.
Not he didn't say Levi is the next commander. He said Hanji is the next commander. So I think she'll realize that a little later on.
I think she will too, but I did like that very human moment because Erwin seemed, meta-human almost. Like we got that little bit of moment, when he was like, I wanted to see the basement. But, that was right before he died. He was like, man, I wanted to know the truth. Like I've been wondering about this since I was a kid. But other than that, like Erwin saved Eren right after he got his arm bitten off. Like he's was always superhuman. He was always above the rest. And, even if you watch the OVA, the Levi's backstory, he was the only one that could go toe-to-toe with Levi.
He stopped his sword with his hand.
Yeah, he stopped his sword with his hand. Like that's just grabbed it. And like Mike was even like, Mike is, number 2, but even he was just like, oh, I don't know if I can handle Levi. And so Erwin's always been that superhuman, like he's going to lead us to the promised land. And leaving Hanji is just like, I'm not Erwin. Like, it's very hard to be Erwin, and it's hard to be in this position of leadership where you have to tell people to do something when so many of them are going to die. And especially after what they've gone through, because we see later in the episode, and, me and Ace just talked about, let's talk about it chronologically. We always try. But, they like Hanji just hints, and we'll get to the railroad scene later, but she hints that they wanted to talk. They wanted to get at a table with the rest of the world and be like, look at us. We're not devils. We're not coming to kill you all. Like we're just living over here. We just chilling, baby. We're good. You let us be good, we'll let you be good. We don't want to do the rumbling. We're just chilling. And then Eren ruined all of it. So now she knows the entire world is against them. Even their one ally can't be seen as their ally anymore because the entire world just got. There's literally the Watchmen thing with the alien or, Dr. Manhattan. They literally did an event that will unite the world and forget all their other petty squabbles and fight the Islanders now. And so now she's losing her best weapon. Yeah. So it's like, okay, the world's against us, but we at least have Eren and Armin and my scouts. Oh, great. One of my best soldiers just died. Cool. Oh, great. Now my weapon, who has the Founding Titan, the Attack Titan, and the Warhammer Titan, 3 of the most powerful Titans, I'm losing him. He's not even going to fight for us. And I'm like, so I don't blame her for having this moment of vulnerability. Like, I still trust in Hanji, and I think she'll come up with something, but I'm totally okay with her having this moment of vulnerability. Just like, oh my gosh, like what I'm so in over my head.
Yeah, no, I liked it too, but I really do feel like it's one of those things where all those things you said about Erwin is true, not just in his skills of the decision-making on the spot, but decision-making years ahead in the future. I believe so. I think he picked Hanji for a reason. I think he picked Hanji too. Hanji's a genius too. And I think he saw that. He was like, you're also a genius like me. You're obviously your own quirky, weird person, but you're still a genius. And I still want you to use that ability to lead this team. And I want you to be my protege, my next in command. So I really do feel like that moment was really cool because we'll get to see Hanji realize why Erwin picked her in the end, maybe later episodes down the road. But let's jump to the second part of this episode, which leads us to Yelena bringing in our first official guest to Paradise from another nation. And that, I'm going to mess up her name. I'm going to try my best. But her name is Kiyomo Azumabitu.
Okay.
Kiyomo Azumabitu from Hizuru is the nation that she's from. She comes in basically wanting to make peace with Paradise, wanting to team up and telling them that she has an arrangement with Zeke based on what she can get out of Paradise. But before that, we get Mikasa's heritage.
Her entire backstory.
Yeah, where we find out that she's actually from this nation. And I'm gonna butcher her name again. Azumabitu says that she is the lost descendant of the nation's ruler because they left a child there because they made a deal with King Fritz back when the nation was dealing with issues.
Yeah.
What do you think of Mikasa's crazy official backstory now that she's from this nation called Hizuru?
I thought, okay, now it just makes me want to go back and make sure that they had the wrist wrap. I want to see if they've had this wrist wrap on her.
That's what I thought too. I was like, you had that the whole time? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the thing. I need to do that homework, and I'm not, even if they don't, I'm not going to care that much. This is the one moment in the entire show I felt, this is the first time I've ever felt in Attack on Titan that this was an exposition dump. This was the first time it didn't feel natural to me. I liked hearing, because, we saw Mikasa's backstory where Eren rescued her, and it was because, like, oh, she's Oriental, she's rare, we're going to kidnap and sell her and her mom into slavery. And so I was like, so how did, the Ackermans are from this island? Like, how did Mikasa get over here? Because she is like she's the only one of her race on this island of Eldians. And now we got that backstory. So it was really interesting to hear. I just wish they hadn't, that was like the first thing they talked about when they got to the island. But also I want to ask you, is Yelena getting a little too comfy? Because when she's like, oh, Eren, it's so good to meet you. And Levi's like, no, y'all aren't working together. Don't worry. She's like, oh, it doesn't matter. We're welcoming people today. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not like I don't like Yelena. I don't trust her though.
I think we're going to get to that for sure in the next coming episodes, because we do see a little bit of sowing the seeds of Yelena's team and Yelena's Marley group that's there. I think there's something to be said there, but I kind of want to really quick finish up with I'm going to keep messing up her name. Azumabitu.
Okay.
I want to finish up with her because she comes in and basically she comes up to Mikasa, says that this is your descendant. You're basically the descendant of one of ours because we made peace with King Fritz years ago. He let one of our children stay here, and I guess Mikasa is that child that stayed there. So that's why she has that, background of a nation. But then on top of that, she says, we made a deal with Zeke. This is Zeke's terms. And she literally brought the contract, which I thought was kind of funny. But let me run through it real quick, man, what Zeke's terms are. So I wrote this down. This is Zeke's plan. It's a 3-part plan based on what Azumabitu was saying. Step 1 is a test run of the rumbling, where she says you have to let the world know your destructive power. Step 2 is where she says that the Hizuru military is going to strengthen your military so that you guys can actually have that strong backbone of a military. And then obviously number 3 is the big one that Eren got pissed at, which was Zeke will pass down the Beast Titan to Historia. But in the meantime, Historia is going to make as many babies as possible. Yeah. Which is what pissed Eren off and what pissed Historia off too. Or, I mean, she was kind of pissed off. But what do you think of Zeke's official 3-step plan?
These some cutthroat terms, man. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just thinking, okay, so showing the world their might. So probably the Shing and Shino wall, the little outcrop right there. They take those colossal titans, send them in and be like, all right, we're going to probably destroy this city. Heads up, we're going to destroy this city. You want people, like, I don't know. They probably wouldn't give anybody a heads up. But it's like, we're going to destroy this city, and this is our power. And then just like the whole, this makes me, and they touch on it later. It's like the moment Zeke touched the island, Historia should have ate him, or they should have kept cutting his arms off so he couldn't regrow them or couldn't morph or something. They're being way too lax with the Zeke security on this island. I got to say that. I got to say that much. I know Levi is the ultimate badass. He's my boy, but still, there could be some, at the minimum, collateral damage if he morphs into the Beast Titan, because he's very powerful. But so what was the second term again?
The second term is basically what we find out later on, but basically it's Hizuru trains the military. They said strengthen your military with our military, so that you can have the backbone of the strong military.
That's the business side of it, because I remember them talking about like Hizuru was like, they're here for business. They're here to trade, because like we have that element that we put in our gas for the ODM gear that they want. They want that material or mineral.
To kind of go off what you're saying, man, just because we find out later in the episode that they disagreed to the terms because Hanji didn't want them to monopolize that element, which is called, I wrote it down, Iceburst Stone.
Yeah.
But she said that she wanted to have all of the rights to the Iceburst Stone, exclusive rights, and monopolize it for her own country, and that's it. And Hanji said no. Hanji said she wanted to trade with the rest of the world so that they could have some power and some say into what their land has, which to me, Hanji's right by saying no.
Oh, for sure.
Because you can't just be like, we'll take all of your stuff and we'll profit all of your stuff. It's like, wait a minute, then how are we going to have any survival like hundreds of years from now?
Exactly. So, like she's trying to ensure the future of the island, like as a prosperous nation, not as a repeat of the Titan War where everybody fears them. Like Hanji wants to enter the world. They just want to be another nation. They don't want to conquer the world. And that's where Zeke differs. Zeke wants to conquer the world. And I mean, it's tough to say that abstractly, obviously you want them to speak, oh yeah, we're going to join the United Nations, for lack of a better term. And we're going to trade and we're going to, live happy ever after. Zeke grew up in this world where he has had a foot on the back of his head, keeping him down the entire time. The only reason he's in any position of power is because he has royal blood and became the Beast Titan. So he knows, he thinks that he knows, this is the only way Eldians can survive is if we take back with force with the rumbling. Mm-hmm. And then with the final term, we got that right before the credits teaser of I can't believe you would sacrifice Historia like this, because Eren was the first one to stand up and be like, no, we're not doing Zeke's plan. We're not sacrificing Historia. He even didn't tell anybody about the Founding Titans' powers, like the key to unlocking them, because he was so afraid of them sacrificing Historia before they even got a chance. And now, him doing what he did, now Zeke's plan is the only plan. Now they have to go with the rumbling because the world is coming after them no matter what. Yeah.
Which puts Historia in a difficult position because she has to inherit the Beast Titan and she has to replicate her bloodline, which I kind of predicted, because I thought it was kind of obvious that she eventually would have to, considering if that blood is that powerful, she's going to have to have somebody's babies.
Yeah, she just can't, it's one thing to have a child. It's another thing to be you need to breed. It's a very different thing, obviously. And, just the one thing she can't have is the Founding Titan within her, because it will take her over.
It would, yeah. Let's quickly go to this comment right here that says, from Luisa Islife, that says, which studio removed Mikasa's tattoo scene and replaced it with making a handkerchief in season 1? And then Classy Ulysses says that they did remove her tattoo in season 1. So that's kind of weird. That is kind of odd. I guess they did it so it could be a surprise when we get to see it. And we wouldn't be trying to figure out what her tattoo is, and we would just be like, oh, she had a tattoo and it's because of this.
Okay.
So I guess that's why they did it.
Maybe.
But either way, it's still kind of odd they chose to not show that. But yeah, they basically wanted those exclusive rights to that material. And I don't know if you caught this, Ben. They never confirmed it, but when Zeke showed him the ODM gear, they damn it, her name.
Is it Kiyomo? Is that who it is?
Kiyomo Azumabitsu.
Yeah.
Reacted to it, and she was like, oh.
Yeah, she recognized it.
And Zeke was like, wait a minute, this is only on Paradise, and I know this because I was there. How do you know what this is? And she never really answered him. Do you think maybe her nation made that technology? Because if you read the middle credits part, you know how they do the little credit explaining part scene? They said that their nation was a former like military weapons and technology nation. Where they made weapons and technology. So maybe their nation made the ODM gear.
It's possible. Like we don't know, the origins of it. Maybe the not the Ackermans, but just like maybe Mikasa's descendants like helped build this. Yeah.
No, it really goes to show you that is a possibility, and maybe they still have a connection to Paradise that goes back even further. I just thought that was an interesting point because she knows how valuable everything that on Paradise is. Mm-hmm. Because we know that Paradise is sitting on a crap ton of resources, and they want those resources so bad. The whole world wants it. Yeah. But most of the world is like, we're going to blow you up and kill you for it. Yeah. Whereas she was like, let's just do, let's just make this contract where I get exclusive rights and then you get to have my military as protection. Yeah. And they said no. Hanji said no. So,
and it goes to show you that going back to like the whole Eren and Zeke of it all, Eren was, confiding in Zeke and her about what he was going to do. The scouts did not know, but she knew because she left. She left that speech early because she knew Eren's plan of going berserker mode. So he must have been in contact with her because she's on board with Zeke's plan about the rumbling, because they'll make all the money with, war makes money, and them having exclusive rights to that mineral will make them all the money in the world and make them a very prosperous nation. So she's fully on board with Zeke's plan, and she must have known that Eren was because she dipped out of that speech that Tiber was making. She's like, okay, I said hi, I made the face appearance so I don't seem suspicious. Time to go. And she was out of there before anything happened.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like that is the case. And it seems like she might be a player later on in the rest of the season. Right. So let's go to the military police conversation, which leads us to eventually Yelena. But the military police are having a conversation where they say, hey, this sucks because we want to get rid of Zeke so bad. And we're so nervous because he's still around. But Historia is pregnant, so we can't just inject her with Titan juice. Yeah, have her turn into a Titan and eat Zeke because we don't know what the hell is going to happen with a pregnant woman. We don't even know if that's possible with a pregnant woman or what would happen. So they're like, we're just here waiting, and they think that Yelena was the one who set up this whole plan to keep Zeke alive for at least a little bit longer because Zeke's going to die anyway. Mm-hmm. But they said keep Zeke alive for a little longer by letting Historia be pregnant. What do you think of that whole discussion and that whole thing that's going on now where it's a waiting game now?
It's tough because this is another thing where you're like the show is doing so well of showing everyone's perspectives because, right before that meeting where they lay out Zeke's terms, they're like, we should ask Yelena for advice about what to do. Like, no. Like she's already, in deep enough. We can't trust her. And Pixis comes up and it's like, I realize why you're afraid, but right now we're still children. We're still discovering the world.
We don't know what a nation is.
Yeah, literally a year ago, we didn't know that there was an outside world. We didn't know that there was things outside the wall 18 months ago. We didn't know that there were other nations coming to kill us. And Pixis is doing his best to be like, hey, we're just being cautious. We do want to trust you, but while Zeke is around, we're just going to lock up his supporters. You guys will, I'd like to think, they're living great in a prison cell, 3 meals a day, hopefully getting some exercise or something like that. They're not, in the deep, dark dungeons or anything. But he's just like, we're just taking every precaution. And just that conversation at dinner, and I said it last week. Like, I don't want to say I don't like Yelena, but I don't trust her. And this, I do. They said that they vetted this guy that got her pregnant, that he was like this, schoolboy crush that lived next door to her. I don't know if I believe that yet.
Or it could be a schoolboy crush that was planted there years ago.
Years ago. Which, in Attack on Titan verse, wouldn't put it past me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am fully on board with someone getting in either Historia's ear or this guy's ear to get her pregnant. So Zeke knows he's got, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year left, whatever, how much. But he just needs to finish his plan before he dies. He's not asking for more time. He's not asking for an extended stay on this execution. He just needs to get his plan done. And if it wasn't for Historia being pregnant, I guarantee you Hanji would have had him bitten in half the moment he stepped foot on the island.
And also, and I know maybe I'm reaching here, but think about it this way too, where if you go back to season 2, Reiner wanted to get Historia.
Oh, yeah.
So you could consider that maybe this whole thing could be Yelena trying to kidnap Historia. Maybe. I don't know. That's a reach, but at the same time, it's one of those things where if you realize her power in her blood, if you just have her, you have a lot of power.
It's not too far of a reach. Now, granted, like Ymir, kind of threatened them to do it, of, running away and them losing the Jaw Titan. But they were tempted to go back and get Annie and Historia. Like, if it wasn't for Zeke beating Reiner in that 1v1 fight in Shiganshina, then they might have done that. Like, if Reiner had won that fight, they probably would have gone on the offensive rather than wait for the scouts to come there.
Yeah, I'm curious, because let's jump quickly to what follows in that scene, which is Nicolo basically looking like they're poisoning.
Yes.
Somehow, I don't know if it's poison or it's some sort of like
it's drugged, like
sleep agent. Maybe it'll make him fall asleep for a long time or something like that. Maybe it won't kill him, but it'll definitely incapacitate them somehow.
Yes.
And then I kind of thought, I was like, whatever, cool. Nicolo's doing his own thing. He's pissed because Sasha died. But then I was like, no, he came here with Yelena. Mm-hmm. And then at the very end, the final frame we got in this episode, Ben, let's just jump to that. We saw even more of that same wine being poured right next to Zeke as the soldiers were around Zeke, basically being his like bodyguards. And Levi was there too. Obviously, Levi wasn't seen drinking it. Maybe he might have not. But either way, it almost made it seem like the show was telling us, hey, something's up with this wine. It's definitely some sort of poison. Yeah. And it's definitely part of someone's plan. Is that Yelena's plan with Zeke? Do you think that's what it is?
It definitely is. Like, I don't know, I'm hoping
what it is.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, it's, a sleeping drought and not, hopefully no one dies. It's Levi's gonna, start seeing his soldiers fall around him, and then Zeke's gonna go, Zeke's gonna transform, and we'll see what happens with that.
Bite his hand.
Bite his hand, and he's probably gonna be like, hey, you can kill me, but I'm gonna wipe out all your soldiers if you don't just let me go. I'm wondering what their plan is. Like, is it because Eren said he can escape, so they don't need to rescue Eren.
No,
they don't need to rescue Eren or anything like that. They don't. Zeke and Eren probably have this all planned out along with Yelena and them. So I'm just wondering what their plan is. Is it to get to Historia?
It might be. Yeah.
Is it for Eren and Zeke to meet up to activate the first part of the rumbling? Like, I'm wondering that because they can do it. They need Historia for the next generation of the rumbling. Yeah. They can do it right now, though. Then if these two meet up, they can do it right now.
That's a good point. They can, right? I mean, considering he has royal blood and Eren is the founding Titan. Yeah. Technically, all they have to do is hold hands.
Yeah.
And it's over.
It's over. And that's the thing is that I think that they're gonna that first part of Zeke's plan. I think they're gonna try and start it. And just be like, y'all aren't doing anything. This is the only way. Me and Eren are going to get this party started, and this is how we're going to do it. But I don't trust Zeke as far as I can throw that dude. But do you think Eren trusts Zeke? Do you think Zeke trusts Eren? Do you think they trust each other, or they're just using each other to get to this thing?
Well, John even said it at the end of the episode, and you said this last week too, where it seems like they had some sort of conversation that no one found out about, and that no one was aware of, but they must have spoken to each other at some point because they seem to be on the same page. So I would assume so. I would assume that maybe he said something that kind of goes hand in hand with either Eren's background, either the Beast Titan background or the Founding Titan background, something that will let him know that he's like, hey, I know what's going on and I have the perfect plan. You just got to follow me.
I definitely think, because I was watching like, a breakdown video of like a few episodes, and Eren has a baseball glove and a baseball when he's in tournament camp. And, when Zeke was killing all the things, like that episode was called Perfect Game. And so I think that's when they were communicating. That's when they were corresponding. So I definitely think they're in on this together. I'm just wondering how far this plan goes. Like, like the Dark Knight, hey, you unlock the safe, I kill you. You cut the power, I kill you. It's like, going down to where it's less and less people. How far does this alliance take until they get what each other wants, and then what happens after that is what I'm curious about.
That's my thing too. Is it more like, hey, we want the same thing, but we want to do it more violently, and maybe that's why they don't want to have Hanji and the team a part of it, because they want to go balls out and just murder everyone with the rumbling, and maybe they know that they won't be a part of that, and maybe that's why. But they're still like, their intentions are still to free Eldia and to be, to have Paradise be at the top and not at the bottom anymore. But they want to go about it in different ways. And maybe Eren is like, I'm convinced that this is the only way where I'm going to kill everyone and the blood's going to be on my hands and not on your guys' hands, kind of thing.
I'm with you on that to a certain extent, where like, if Eren had tried to do this in a certain way, then it would have kept his friends out of the fight. But exactly what Connie, I can't remember if it was Connie or Jean, was like, he had Armin blow up the port and kill thousands of people. He brought you guys to the front line and he got Sasha killed. And so I don't know if that is like changing his decision, because I'd like to. I'm starting to think that Eren is going to be like our main antagonist for the rest of the series. But I'm still trying to think of like, okay, maybe he's doing this to keep his friends out of the fight. Maybe he's like, I don't give a shit about Zeke. I'm just using him as much as he's using me for doing it for each. I'm using him for the royal blood. He's using me for the Founding Titan, and together we can end this fight before it even starts. But it still goes back to them. Eren would have died on that island and gotten killed by the Warhammer Titan if he didn't drag the scouts into it. And, they talked about Hanji, and we'll get to the railroad scene next, but they talked about Hanji setting up a discreet base in Marley. So he must have known that they were already there. So he was like, oh, so I can go there and they'll back me up if I need them to.
Yeah, which is why it's weird, because you're right. It would make sense if he didn't get them involved in the first place. But the fact that he did makes it seem like he doesn't really care. But at the same time, I could still feel like maybe his intentions are still, to make Paradise be on top, but they just want to do it two different ways, where Hanji still wants to talk it out, do a free trading post around the world and have actual communication. Whereas Eren says, let's just flatten the world, literally, with the Colossal Titans.
Rebuild a new one.
And rebuild a new one where we're at the top and we're never at the bottom anymore. We're not necessarily equal, but we're ruling. Kind of like what Flock said when he said that the Eldian Empire, which sounds scary, because that's definitely not what we want to see. We want to see a little bit more even balance, but not necessarily the Eldians ruling the world again. And maybe that's what Eren wants.
I think he does, and it kind of goes back to, just like to make another comparison, it goes back to like Thanos. Because like Thanos, on paper, maybe world, the galaxies get overpopulated and, wiping out half the people, not the best idea, but on paper, maybe it seems like it could work. But it's like, if that's your only thought, when you have the 6 most powerful things in the world and you can recreate reality in any way you see fit, you couldn't grow more crops. You couldn't make a new habitable planet. You couldn't do it. No, you're just focused on massacring half the population of the entire universe, murdering trillions of people. But it's like that. It's like Eren has all this power at his hands, and so does Zeke. And maybe there could be different ways to, it might be harder, it might take longer, but the only thing he's starting to see now is like, no, we have to do the rumbling. We have to beat the other countries into submission to make them respect us and, stop persecuting us. So it seems like they've got that very tunnel vision right now of like, this is the only way. There's no other ways. There's no other solutions. Hanji, get out of my face. I don't want to hear it. I'm done with it. I've got the plan.
Yeah. I think that might be the case, and obviously we don't know where that's going to lead. We eventually get to Connie saying that maybe they have to be prepared to cut Eren down, which Mikasa quickly responds and is like, "I won't let you. Yeah, I'll kill you first, Connie. I'll kill you. I swear, I'll do it.
I'll do it."
Which I thought was kind of crazy, but it leads us to our flashback scene. Man, let's just get to that.
Best scene.
We had a few flashback scenes, but our last flashback scene was our team. I call them our team or group. So basically, team. Sasha, Connie, Jean, Armin, Mikasa, and Eren are building a railroad because Eren thought it would be a good idea, and obviously Jean and everyone else is pretty pissed about that.
Now we know why they're all buff as hell, though.
There we go. Now we all know that.
Railroad.
That's what John said. He was like, "Hey, man, build muscle and build roads at the same time," is what he said. And he got pissed about that. But hey, it worked out, man. Either way, they're seen doing that. And we get to see, I thought it was hysterical to see Mikasa lifting like 4,000 pounds.
I was waiting because it was like such a
just casually.
I was waiting for the other person. And then it kind of was like, is she carrying that entire thing? And apparently she is.
She's carrying like a whole damn train.
Right.
She definitely, like, I was right. I mean, I've been saying it forever, and I think it's been confirmed, but it's like officially confirmed now that she does have super strength. But I've been saying that since like season 1, where everyone's like, is she like kind of super powered? And I'm like, no, she definitely is super powered.
Without a doubt.
And we definitely got confirmation by her just casually lifting like thousands of pounds. Yeah, she definitely has powers, but it's one of those things where it's a fun scene because we get to see them. We get Hanji basically saying that, hey, we're going to have to do this Historia thing. And then at the very end, we get to see them debating who should be the next Eren, who should inherit Eren. What'd you think of that whole scene, man?
I was cackling. Yeah. Like I was still laying in bed when this came out and I watched it for the first time just on my tablet. I was laughing so hard because like, it goes from one, Jean's wearing his stupid little fedora, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm not a suicidal maniac. I'm actually smart, so I'll actually be a good Titan, unlike this idiot. Because he shoots down Mikasa volunteering.
Well, he's right, though, when he says that.
He's absolutely right. He's like, there are a million reasons, but he doesn't mention the one that he's in love with Mikasa, his most important reason. And so he's like, I'll do it. I'm smart.
Yeah, but he said because she's an Ackerman, though.
Yeah. But I mean, we all know the real reason why he shot him down so fast. Like, there's actual objective reasons for Mikasa to not be the next Titan.
Yes.
But that was not the reason John spoke up as fast as he did. And then Connie's like, okay, you're so capable that we can't lose you in 13 years. We need you to be around and be a commander, be a general. I'll do it. I'm pretty disposable. And Sasha's like, no, like, you're an idiot. I'm a capable soldier. Oh, no, I just love, my favorite was he's like, wait, what are you talking about? Connie's like, Don't me. He's like, and then she's like, no, I'm a capable soldier. I'll do it. And just the sincerity on Connie's face when he says, but wait, you just said it can't be an idiot, but you're a bigger idiot than me. Why are you volunteering? And she goes, huh? And he goes, huh? This is because it reminds me of when they're like doing like the fake kung fu at training camp. Like this is Connie and Sasha that I missed, and we needed this. This season has been heavy from moment one, with very, very little levity, and this was such a perfect moment, and to where like Eren is just overwhelmed. He's like, I don't want any of you to do this. Like, you all mean so much to me. Me and Armin were forced into this. Like, I don't even remember getting the Titan, and Armin had to take it just to save his life. But you guys have a choice, and I don't want you to make that choice. I want you to all grow old. And it was, we got an Eren smile earlier when Historia and Mikasa were talking. I was like, oh, there's an Eren smile. We haven't had an Eren smile since God knows when.
Did you read into that, or was that only me reading into that?
Oh, in what way?
And like, hey, like we got one tiny little tease in season 3, episode 2, where Historia and Eren were having like a moment, and Mikasa got pissed.
Yeah,
like she got pissed, and then we had that moment where Eren smiled at Historia just now, kind of hinting at like, hey, you're cool, Mikasa, but that's my girl. Like straight up, like you're my sister. This is my girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if you read into that like I did, but I did.
I don't know. It's hard to describe Eren and Mikasa's relationship. I think, it's probably brother and sister. I'm sure
it's definitely brother and sister from Eren's perspective by far.
From Eren's perspective, yes. Like, I don't know how Mikasa feels now, but she's like,
Mikasa's definitely like sister, and
yeah,
maybe if he's up for it.
I think she loves him in like such a sincere way. I don't know if it's romantic, but I think she'll just because he saved her and and I just thought of this a while ago while we were talking about the opening scene where she's chanting fight at the end of the last episode. He's chanting fight, and that was their first moment together when he's being choked and he's like yelling at her, fight if you want to survive right now, fight. And that got her first Ackerman moment of her going Super Saiyan, breaking breaking the floorboards and stabbing that guy in the heart. And that kind of reminded me about, they're chanting together, different places, but still chanting.
Yeah.
And so they'll always have that connection. I don't know if it's anything romantic. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's such a breath of fresh air because especially with how the episode ends with, Zeke staring at his book, Nicola possibly poisoning the high command. You're like, oh my God, more shit is going to go wrong. Let me just live in this flashback where they're mad about building a railroad and they're not worried about the entire fate of the planet resting on their shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely don't necessarily mean that it's going to be some sort of relationship. I just think they're hinting at something maybe. Tim Ong in the chat says, if Mikasa has super strength, Levi has super speed. Yes. Yes to both. I think he has both and she has both. But yeah, also Mustafa in the chat says, Andres is a Eren Historia shipper, huh? I guess I am, man. Why not? Let's do it. Jean and Mikasa, Historia and Eren. Make it happen.
Jean definitely deserves Mikasa, but we all know stories never end up. The guy never ends up like that. But Jean and I'm full on Jean Mikasa, and I'm okay with Eren and Historia. And I'm wondering because we saw how we went from bubbly, I missed Historia, by the way. We got a Historia speaking part today, and it was so nice where she was so happy that after learning of Mikasa's heritage, and she's like, it feels so good to share this with you. I became a queen because of my family line. I didn't want this. It was kind of thrust upon me. And now you have kind of the fate of a nation thrust upon you. And it's so great because I trust you so much and you're so capable. It's good to have this burden to share with somebody.
Yeah, to talk about. And then we flash forward and she's just depressed, sitting on a porch, pregnant. I'm like, okay, did this guy get her pregnant? Did Eren get her pregnant? What's going on? I feel like maybe that might be teasing that maybe she didn't want that burden of having to bear these children and to be this beast titan. Remember, because back in at the end of season 3, part 1, we have that moment between her and Erwin. Where Erwin's like, hey, by the way, you're going to be the queen. You're going to be in charge because you have royal blood. Deal with it. And then Connie and John get pissed at Erwin and they're like, Commander, what if she doesn't want to do that? What if she doesn't feel like it? And they all start to debate the idea of your responsibility, your destiny, where it shouldn't necessarily be pressed upon you. And they feel like they were pressing it upon her. But then she was like, no, it's cool. I'll be the queen. But that kind of conversation where you kind of hinting at maybe Historia not wanting that responsibility, maybe that's why she was like, I'm pregnant. I have to have these babies. Now I have to turn into a giant monkey or a giant T-Rex. You never know.
Because you look at Historia's life. She grew up with a mother that wouldn't even touch her, that, struck her, hitting her was the first time her mother ever interacted with her. Her mother's last words were, I wish I never had you, before she got killed. And then she was hidden away in exile and had to join the Scouts just to save her life. And then her dad tried to turn into a Titan to save the walls and to save the king.
That's a moment too.
That's one of my favorite moments.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And then she's forced to be a queen, to lead the people, and now, without a break, she's like, okay, now I have to be like this, for lack of a better term, this breeder for royal blood children to carry on this terrible burden that my children will have limited 13-year lives, basically.
Yeah, or at least one of them.
At least one of them. And so it's just like this terrible life that she's led to this moment. And so like it might be all coming crashing down around her, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. It's probably a combination of all of them, but it's definitely interesting how this is now turned into this crazy, weird birth waiting game where it's like, let's wait for her to give birth and then we can have her eat Zeke. But in the meantime, Zeke is going to read as many books as possible. He's just going to chill with Levi. Yeah,
it's just great. And that's why, now I love that moment where right after she becomes queen, she goes and punches Levi and everyone like cheers and Levi laughs. Like now the more I get into the show, the more I love that moment, because that was like kind of the last happy moment until this train scene almost that we had. Was like, oh, this moment of after, like it was all the Levi squad versus the Kenny squad and, all this stuff, and then, Rice attacking the walls. And then we finally got this one breath of fresh air before they went and retook the walls. And then we jumped right into season 4 of, Reiner and the Marleys, and then Eren going berserker. And like, this is like the first breath of fresh air we've had since that Levi punch. Like that's the crate, like thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh. It's kind of like the first time I've laughed in this show in forever.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And it's definitely one of those things where we probably won't have many later on. We had a couple last week too with Sasha, obviously, being a memory of Sasha.
Yeah.
Also, I want to address Jeremiah Winslow in the chat said it was Levi, not Erwin. I think that was the case where Levi was like, hey, by the way, you have to be the queen now. And then the scouts were like, John and Connie were like, you can't do that. You can't force her to make that decision.
Because I think she like came back to Erwin and was like, if I'm going to be the queen, I'm going to fight. Like I'm going to fight and right now, and you can't stop me.
And Erwin pushed back on that. He was like, no, you're not. And she's like, yes, I am.
Yeah, it's like you can't. You are in no shape to stop me right now. So I'm going to do that. And that's when she had her kick down the door, like strut walk in with her ODM gear on, like that badass walk she had.
Yeah, it was awesome. That walk is insane. I love how they animated that. It was so good. That to me is definitely the whole question in the room now is like, I think Eren also realized that it couldn't be any of them to inherit the Titan, his Titan, because it had to be someone else. And I really do feel like Eren is probably going to pass it down to either Gabby or Falco, or maybe later down the line, maybe to one of Historia's children. I don't know. I don't know how this show is going to end as far as like what Eren is going to decide to pass it down to. But definitely not the crew.
Yeah, and even Armin even hinted at, Mikasa was like, "You're not touching Eren. I'll kill you." And even Armin, his best friend since childhood, was like, "Now that we have Titan formula, we at least have options. We at least have options to go around Eren." And
have someone eat Eren.
Yeah, have someone eat Eren, and then that person will do the rumbling. Someone we trust, and that's a scary thing of your childhood best friend, and Mikasa is a very smart, capable woman, but she's still blinded by her Eren love, and it takes a lot for Armin to be that person to be like, maybe we need to move on from trusting Eren now, because, and what Connie said was like, you guys saw him, was that Eren? The person that was on the airship, was that Eren? That did not seem like Eren to me.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because you could kind of see, you could definitely see Connie's side where he's like, that's definitely not Eren, that's someone else. And you could see Mikasa's side where she's like, maybe he has a plan. Maybe he's teaming up with Zeke. He's doing all this crazy crap. Maybe he asked us to come there, not because he wanted us to die, but because he trusted us and only us to get him out of that situation. Like, that debate was actually kind of interesting, because I did like seeing Mikasa try and see a justification to Eren if there is one.
Yeah.
But you're right. The way it ended with Armin basically saying, "Hey, we have Titan juice now." I keep calling it Titan juice, but it's not that.
Titan formula, whatever you want to call it.
Titan formula. Now we can basically override Eren.
Yeah.
And I can't lie, man. I was like, good luck.
It's definitely like a good luck situation.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to capture Eren?
But the fact that Mikasa didn't, immediately say, "No, you won't, Armin."
True.
That has some impact on Mikasa because she thought that Armin would be, right there with her, be like, "Yeah, you're not doing that to Eren." The fact that Armin is saying that has some impact on Mikasa because she's like, "We'll go talk to him." And I can't remember if it was Jean or Connie, and he was like, "Okay, so if you go talk to him and he's gone full evil, he's fully gone evil, what are you gonna do? Like you just said you're not gonna kill him, so what's the solution?" And that's when Armin was like, "We have options." That's that's as far as Armin wants to go because Armin is all about the peace. He wanted to talk to Bertolt and Shiganshina after the battle he even started. He's always trying to find the peaceful solution, which I can't fault him for at all. And I can't even imagine what he's going through with the memories of the colossal Titan in him, with the death and destruction that thing has caused throughout generations. And so if Armin is saying that, if Armin is saying okay, if we can't deal with Eren, we've got other options. That's a big statement from Armin. I feel like that's getting a little bit overlooked in the retrospect of this episode. And I really want to harp on it because this is Eren's best friend as much as Mikasa. Mikasa's a part of his family. They adopted her, but Armin has been there since day one. Literally since day one.
I think so. And I think Eren kind of doing his own thing, Eren experiencing the memories of the past and the present, and now Eren with a Warhammer Titan, extra memories on top of that, really makes you feel like, is this even Eren anymore? We don't know. Yeah. I want to get to the comments real quick. Victor G in the chat says, "Hey guys, I just discovered your channel and it's freaking awesome. Saludos desde Mexico." Thank you, Victor. Appreciate you, man. Also, Tim Ong says, "What are the odds of Eren being the dad?" I'm assuming he's talking about Historia. Obviously, we are not manga readers for anyone who's new in the chat right now, guys. So please do not spoil.
Please no manga spoilers.
But we will happily speculate about that. I actually pitched that to you, Ben. I don't know if you remember this on our DMs. I was like, dude.
Oh yeah. If you guys don't know, I wish we had a public DM that you could see the tinfoil hat theories that Ace DMs me at 2 a.m. He's like, "Hey man, hope I don't wake you up, but I just had to get this off my chest."
I had to.
It was so good.
But basically, Tim, that's exactly what I said. I said, what if Eren finds a loophole through the whole royal blood thing by having children with Historia, and somehow that's a way to, pass down both Titans and not be brainwashed. What if their kids have it? One of their kids gets it, maybe they're able to somehow, I don't know. I was just speculating, but that'd be interesting.
Not outside the realm of possibility. I need to know how long Eren was on. One, I don't know if it's still 9 months pregnancy. I don't know. It's a different world. I don't know if that still works. It's the same pregnancy terms.
I'm assuming it might be. Yeah,
I'm assuming it should be. But it's also I don't know how long Eren was on Marley before, how long he was undercover for. Because I
think it might have been a year.
Was it a year? Okay.
I'm speculating it was a year because I was trying to do that this episode too, because they kept saying 2 years ago and then it kept going. And then it was almost like Eren hadn't been undercover yet. So I was like, has he been undercover for only a year? But it seemed like it might've been maybe a year.
Yeah. I'm wondering if next episode, I know you don't watch the previews, but I'm wondering if next episode is going to be okay, now 1 year ago, and that's when he's going to go rogue and disappear. Because we got 3 years, 2 weeks ago when they first when the Marleys first landed. We got a year past of them working together, and now are we going to get this final year of them realizing, oh shit, Eren's gone AWOL. We got to get over there. We got to fix this.
Yeah, I think that might be the case, and I think that's definitely where we're going to see next episode, for sure. And I think it's one of those things where we don't necessarily know. I think crap is going to go down, if that's the best way to put it, when it comes to the whole wine thing that they keep teasing. Yeah. As far as Nicolo and Yelena, and Zeke, who's just casually reading a book. I just think it's hysterical how he's like, I'm gonna die in about a couple months, but I'm gonna read this nice book.
I think he's just waiting for his plan to enact. Like,
Sure.
you know, like he knows he can't beat Levi. He knows the one big adversary in front of him is standing like across the campfire from him. But so he's just waiting for everything else to fall into place. And I don't know. I don't think Levi drinks, so I don't think he's going to get knocked out that way. But they have got to have some kind of plan to incapacitate Levi so Zeke can be of some use. Otherwise, they're in a giant forest full of ODM gear. Like Zeke will get wiped out in less than 20 seconds.
That's what I keep thinking. I keep thinking, like, how is Zeke going to get out of this? If he is a triple agent like we think he is, how is he going to incapacitate Levi, who seems to be like a god at the same level as he is, if not more? It's really interesting, and I'm curious to see how, because I don't necessarily know if just being like, hey, I'll kill your soldiers is enough at this point. I think Levi might be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
the only thing I'll tell you about the next week is that we are getting some more Falco and Gabby stuff. So what do you think is going to happen with them? Like, are you still on the rehab train for Gabby?
I have to be, man. It's me, almost like John being like, this is the only hope we have. It's just if we just believe that we can, then we can. Otherwise, if we just give up when she's like 13, 14 years old, and come on, like we got to do it now if we're not going to ever do it. So I think we can. Honestly,
like with how Eren is acting, I'm starting to kind of be on her side of like, if her only goal is to kill Eren, we might need her. We might need her because our friends, like, you know, Levi probably could, but Levi's probably going to have his hands full with Zeke. But Mikasa's probably the only other one that's capable of killing Eren, but she won't do it. So we might need Gabby in the end, honestly, as much as I hate to say it. Like, I'll be fully transparent. I would have been one of those people, not to throw her out of the warship, but I would have gotten a few hits in on the airship when she got disarmed. I would have been like, mother, get it. Yeah. That would have come to my senses after that, but I would have gotten a few elbows in there before someone pulled me off her. But now it seems like we're gonna need Gabby to finish Eren, because Eren's off the deep end, it seems like.
My only thing is, like, Eren is like god level now, bro. Like, Eren was already god level when he was on Marley, but now he has Warhammer.
I know.
And Warhammer is elite. Like, that thing is a beast. And I don't know how. I mean, the only two people on the planet.
But how well can he control Warhammer? That's what I'm wondering.
I think he's got it. I really do feel like
it takes a lot more energy. We saw that Laura Tiger got tired out pretty quick, and she'd been living in it for a little bit. With all those those creations, it wears you out fast. So I'm not saying he's not god level, because he definitely is, but he's not invincible. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I think Levi can take him on. I think Levi and Mikasa can take him on if they double teamed on him. I think that would be your best odds, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's your only odds, honestly. Like,
your best odds is like, no, there are two of them.
Yeah.
If there are two of them. But anything else that we want to get to, man, as far as this episode goes?
It felt good just to see everybody again. Like I love the train scene. That's one of my favorite scenes now in this show, is just like them being goofballs, because you forget that they are kids. Like, I think they're probably 18 in that scene. Like, because they're 15 at the end of season 3, and then was it 2? So they're 17. They're 17 or 18 in that scene. So you forget that these really are kids thrown into like the worst possible situation imaginable, but they're still kids, so they're still goofing off with each other. And just Connie's sincere response of, "But you said it couldn't be an idiot, but you're an idiot, so you're contradicting yourself."
Yeah.
And then, I don't trust Yelena at all. She's very smart, but I don't trust her. I'm very scared of what is going to happen to our scouts and to our paradisers, and I just want to live in that train moment for the rest of the season, even though I know so many bad things are going to happen in these next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm so curious what's going to go on, because I still feel like they're so disconnected from Eren. And I love how the episode ends with Armin being like, I have a plan. What is it, Armin? Let's go talk to Eren. And I'm like, yes, can we have done this already?
Right.
You should have talked to him by now. And then it cuts to like to be continued. I thought that was so frustrating. I was like, no, I just talk to the guy.
But do you think, like, we'll end on this? Do you think he's too far gone to even talk to Armin and Mikasa?
I can at least think he'll break it down, right? At least be like, hey guys, this is the thing. When I was in Marley, I saw this and I saw that, and then the military in the world have 100,000s of years of discrimination against us. So what we have to do is we have to take over. Like maybe he'll explain, at least hear him out, right? At least hear him out why he wants to do the rumbling and pop the world. Like let him give an explanation as to what he learned when he was in Marley. Like they still haven't even heard from him based on that. So I just want to hear him out. That's all I would want to hear him out if I were them too. So that's why I was a little bit disappointed with Hanji and Eren. And Eren
that's the thing is that he didn't listen to Hanji. Like he didn't want to talk to Hanji at all.
And I was like, what? Dude, that's your commander. Hanji's like, hey, I'm just here to talk. Let's talk. And he was like, no, get out of here. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So yeah, that's my thing. So hopefully we'll get some more answers as to why Eren did what he did. But he did hint at that 2 weeks ago when he said I sent letters and explained my reasoning.
Yeah, so I think he knew where their Marley base was, and so he said he explained it in the letters. So I'm curious if we're going to get those letters
or who read the letters.
Yeah,
was it just Levi?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. Because Levi right now is guarding Zeke, so we'll see what happens with that too. Either way, guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us throughout this episode of Attack on Titan, talking about episode 10. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel for more anime talk, for more Attack on Titan. We will be back next week for episode 11. It's going to be a lot more exciting. Ben, where can everyone find you, man?
Find me everywhere at the Ben Goddard, guys. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Always so much fun. Just like even in these like information heavy episodes of like easily going an hour and talking all the crazy theories of what's coming up next. Like I wish it's like a battle between wanting to everything to drop with the binge watch and then getting this week to week. I love this week to week, but I'm always so afraid of spoilers and I always want more. So I wish these were hour-long episodes like that we are getting because it would be amazing.
Sure. And you can find me, guys, at Squad Leader Race. Also, I forgot to say Levi doing the height jokes to himself.
Oh my God!
Like,
yes.
He's like, "Damn, this isn't fair, bro. What the hell?"
Like him, like bitterly looking up, like that should have
Connie. No, specifically at Connie. He's like, "Wait a minute, Connie. What the hell happened?
We were the same height, bitch. What are you doing up there?" Like
he's like, Connie.
He felt so betrayed by Connie.
We were brothers, man. We were in this.
Yeah.
You traitor!
Like you need to substitute like his face on Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar. Like you were my brother, Connie.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. You were supposed to destroy the tall people, not join them.
Yeah, seriously. The Titans are taking over.
Yeah.
And by Titans, I mean you tall ass dudes. Shout out to all the short homies around the world, all the Levi's. I love, bro. If you're on Attack on Titan TikTok now, all the thirst for Levi from all these girls.
So real.
When he's like fat, 5 foot flat. And I'm like, yo, dude, he's our hope. He's the one anime hope.
I shared that thirsty ass Mikasa photo and I was like, who put this on my timeline? And someone responded and they're like, hey, horny police? Yeah, that's him over there. I was like, damn it, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's going too far, man.
Going too far.
Too much, guys.
Too much.
Either way, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for Attack on Titan. We will be back next week for the Attack on Titan crew. We are peacing out. Peace.
Peace.